Hi guys, I know you're very eager to watch the rest of this video, but before you do, the entire Maskoff crew would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button so you can know when we post more content. So do stay tuned and hit that subscribe button and like and share. Thank you.
In a perfect world, the same consequences that happen to women should also happen to men. But
now we'll give you a raise for this because now we need you. Because now we realize what you can do.
There is no chance on earth that you will get help otherwise.
You have been a victim or perpetrator of unwanted sexual advances.
I've been a victim of lots of small sexual advances that lots of men have just done very casually over the years. So I've been groped, as in just anywhere they want to touch, they will do it. They don't consider me a person's feelings and consider that I might not want to be touched.
This realization actually came very recently, that while I was small, so I was sexually abused, molested from the age of 3 till I was 8. The loathing, the self-destructive thoughts, the negativity, all of that did not set in until I grew older and concepts from society came to me saying that what was happening was wrong. I did not know how it was abuse in the first place, right? Whoever enjoyed sexual contact was bad. Okay? So I enjoyed the sexual experience as a child. And I wish there was someone there who came and told me that it wasn't my fault.
it was a weirdly unique experience. There was someone that I considered a very, very close friend for a very, very long time at my place, right? Out of absolutely nowhere, she just basically mounted onto my lap and started trying to make out, take a top off and everything like that. Sexual experiences are very unique. I've never ever been that guy who liked one night stands. For me, anything sexual was also an extension of how I felt about that person. So I couldn't enjoy anything like that unless I actually was in love with that person. That's how it's always been for me.
Men deal with emotional harassment better.
And then women have the capacity to deal with emotions in a very strong way. And even though women don't show it, they are very, very strong with dealing with emotions. I mean, they have to go through stuff like raising kids on their own sometimes. So I think even when it comes to stuff like online harassment and stuff like that, they can deal with that kind of thing on their own or with help. But I definitely think that's we can't say that men can deal with it better. I think both parties deal with it well themselves. Both of them can deal with it equally. It depends on the person, really.
Men are handicapped by society in dealing with emotions. They are not taught to deal with emotions. They are taught to hide their emotions, meaning they don't deal with them. They bury it.
I have been an abuser myself.
Verbal abuse, because I try to hide a lot of what I do by making jokes and stuff like that. So I remember in the past, to my family mainly, I used to be very hurtful, not in a nice way. It didn't even come up as sarcasm. And I feel I actually did hurt my siblings and all of that. And I now regret it. So I know it's not a good thing that I was doing.
And I'd like to talk about verbal abuse, as in I've never physically touched anyone in a wrong manner, I can vouch for that. But then verbal abuse, once I did verbally abuse one person only because they had attacked one of my friends, and I felt it was really just unjust what had happened to that person. So I had to stand up for my friend. And I don't regret it though. I really don't regret it. But I just wish I was in a better situation and I could have handled it better. Definitely I could have handled it better, but I just don't regret the confrontation.
It's a weird circle. Like, just to add to that very, very quickly, in the school van back then, when you're in like a boys' school or something, school vans have hierarchies, right? The big you guys know, school vans have hierarchies. And there was this one guy, right, who was like, he was in the seat right in front of the backmost seat. And this guy had this thing where he was pretty much known as a bully, right? And he had this thing where he started like one time he started pulling the little hairs in the back of your head which hurt, right? I turned and just looked at him. I was in the seat in front of him and I just turned and I looked at him and I didn't say anything, I just looked at him. And he did it again and I was like, I turned and looked at him one last time. And then he basically did it again. The third time he did it, I just turned and I open palm bitch slapped him like 3 times. Like over and over again. That, like, I mean, news basically felt like, because it's a boys' school, right? News goes everywhere. Oh shit, that, that shit went far and wide. And like, it's like you said, like, you can justify it by saying, he started that shit and I was just looking out because if I don't stop, because he's a bully, he's gonna keep doing it. But then, at the same time, that ended up into him being humiliated for a long time in school because of what I did. So, it's a vicious circle,
I'm going to ask the next poll actually where you guys are. If you want to move ahead, whatever you want to do, go ahead. Some abusers deserve sympathy.
As long as the abuser speaks to the victim and sorts whatever they have going on out, yes, I think then they do deserve chance, because they wouldn't do that unless they wholeheartedly felt that what they did at that point in time was wrong. I mean, especially if they were under the influence or if there was some external element pushing them to commit that, and if they're now willing to talk to the victim and say that I'm really sorry and help the victim in any kind of way, I think then they do definitely deserve some kind of empathy.
Let's say, even if you actually do come to a point where you realize exactly what you did, then, let's say there's so many factors that excuse what you did wrong, right? It could be you were drunk, under the influence, and you lost your temper at your wife and you beat the shit out of her and, you end up marring her face or even killing her. And, there's no kind of apologies that you can make to take that level of, thing back. But from an objective point of view, there are so many, it's a very, very, slippery slope, right? And there are certain things that can kind of shove a person into an abusive pattern. And sometimes you have to accept that it is what it is, and you do need to sympathize with how that person got to that point, to actually, do the things that he or she did. So yes, I'm going to strongly agree that yes, they do need sympathy, but draw the line on the fact that sometimes even if you do feel sympathetic towards what that person did, it doesn't necessarily undo what said person did.
Now, we can forgive an online crime because they haven't done anything to physically hurt someone. But an offline crime is way worse, I guess you could say. But in that case, I don't think you can forgive something like that, which is bound to hurt someone in a much worse manner.
So, it's not about forgiveness, it's about sympathy. I will sympathize with just about anyone. The ones that I will not sympathize with are people who knowingly will profit from another person's misery. People who profit or monetarily gain from selling children into a sex trade. I can't sympathize.
Fear of harassment has made me hide parts of myself.
Actually, after being cyberbullied, I ended up becoming more confident. So it actually did me a favor. Harassment hasn't stopped me from being myself at all in any way. If at all, it has actually helped me become more confident and be more myself in every way, on social media and also in general in life. So Because the thing is, when it comes to any kind of harassment, especially when it comes to cyberbullying, if they bully you for anything, for example, in my case, it was for my weight and the way I look, if you let them stop you, then by default, you are letting them win.
Yeah, I agree with that as well, because I always from my childhood to now, even though I've gone through like an insane, especially even in school, like I've been through, man, I have stories to tell. But I was always that kid who was unapologetically myself, and I refused to change because I knew I was right. And in whatever I was better, I knew I was better. And for me, it was always it's like, I need to be better and better and better. Yeah, I've never, ever hid any parts of myself at any point in my life just because someone felt the need to go out of their way to put me down.
I have hidden myself with the fear of harassment and judgment and etc. And I am talking about nudes. The only reason there is so much cyberbullying and because nudes being shared is because society views it as wrong. It's in time that people start realizing that there is nothing shameful about the human body.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed this particular episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and everything that you want to say, any thoughts that you might have about this episode, make sure you drop it down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next episode.